There are a lot of reasons that you might want to mislead, deceive, or outright lie to your players. It could be tied to your narrative, or maybe a roll went poorly. Whatever the reasons, here are some reasons honesty might not be the best policy, and how to do it well. Let me start off by saying I'm not talking about lying to players as a malicious thing or some sort of GM power play. I've been in games where the GM has blatantly lied to us so that they could have some kind of grand reveal or twist later in the game, and then made fun of us because we figured it out, but he lied to us and we didn't know. That sucks. That's not fun. Surprises and twists and double crosses are possible, absolutely, but they take a lot of planning and forethought. Setting up a twist and having your players figure it out, lying and then springing it on them later just isn't fun, and it undermines a type of trust that I think is very important at the table. So, what type of deception am I talking about? Well, let's take a look. I'm going to start off with fudging rolls. You've probably heard the term before, but just in case you're pretty new to playing, when a GM fudges their roll, it means they're lying about what showed up on the dice, because they roll behind a screen most of the time and the players can't see it. The time I see this happen the most, and the time I've used it myself, is to avoid killing a player. Sometimes the dice just roll mean, and especially at low levels, a couple of high damage rolls in a row can kill a character before anyone really gets the chance to play them. And for some folks, that's a part of the fun, the danger of the game. But for others, it just isn't a way that they want to go. I think it's important to keep in mind what everyone at the table is looking for and to know what kind of game you want to run. Fudging your rolls might be the most common way of lying to players. Do you fudge rolls? What do you think of having that tool at your disposal? Another way that GMs, myself included, lie to players, and I find it really fun, is subverting expectations when it comes to monsters in particular. So imagine you're a part of this game. There's a creature down this gloomy alleyway, just barely discernible in the moonlight. It looks up from its victim, blood running from the monster's long fangs. Now, obviously, this bad guy is a vampire, right? So when the same creature is then seen in broad daylight, decrepit flesh hanging from its body, chasing down different townspeople and feeding on their brains, that's kind of confusing to the players and their characters. After a tough battle, they discover that this beast is some kind of strange new automated golem, and a whole new mystery needs to be solved. See, through homebrewing your monsters, tweaking the descriptions of existing monsters, you can set up expectations for the player characters, and most likely the players as well, and then have a lot of fun when the deception is revealed and the monsters act in a different way than everyone expected. Just remember, when customizing monsters like this, you gotta keep in mind party balance and survivability. Thanks to all of our patrons, especially Joan. If you like what we do and want to support our channel, head on over to our Patreon page. There you can get access to our Patreon perks, and you can join in on our community discussions. The last lie that I'm going to bring up is wrapped up in your narrative. Now, sometimes you want to, or you need to, let players chase down the wrong lead or the wrong rumor. Now, like I said at the beginning, it's no fun for the players to figure out the trick, the ruse, but then be lied to and said they're wrong, and then find out later in the game they did have it right. Okay, so how do you give them a bad trail to follow in a good way? Simple. Sometimes NPCs are just wrong. Now, this is kind of a fine line to walk, but let me try to simplify it right away. An NPC who truly believes incorrect information and tells it to the characters, that's not the same as a DM lying to the players that they're wrong when they have figured out the clues correctly. It comes down to having this happen in-game and making sure that you've set up the situation in a way that it's logical to have gotten the information wrong to begin with. For example, if your party is hunting down a werewolf, Everybody knows it's a werewolf, players and characters included, because the murders have all happened right around the full moon. The victims are all torn to shreds, and witnesses have seen what they describe as a shaggy, bipedal, hulking beast. All of those NPCs can honestly believe that they were seeing a werewolf, and the victims and timing all line up with werewolf lore. But now you have a fun surprise later in the game when it's revealed that a powerful necromancer is behind everything and collecting the different types of ingredients it needs from living victims. The necromancer timed the killings and used major illusion to throw people off the scent. See, done well, you, the GM, will never have to lie to your players. But the NPCs and the player's own assumptions can be misleading and a misdirection. And no one feels cheated. At least that's the hope. So what do you think about lying and misdirecting your players? Are there fun and enjoyable ways to do this? Or do you think that honesty is always the best and you just run the straight game and what people expect is what they get because that's what's fun? Do you have any great switcheroo moments from games that you've been a part of that you really loved? Let's talk about all of those moments and misleading your players down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm Ryan, and I'll see you later on Roll for Initiative. Bye. Splash image. Try doing like mwahahaha, mwahahaha. And then this guy over here being like, and we'll see how that works.